Welcome back to Gothic Homemaking. My spooky friends, if you watch this show regularly, then you already know that I love to take you to places that are of interest to spooky folks like you and me. Well, today I'm going to take you to a place that has a truly unexpected number of horror-themed businesses. Now, every year millions of tourists travel to Los Angeles, California. I'm going to guess probably Hollywood. And Cthulhu knows there's plenty of horrible things to see in Hollywood. But you would really be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't travel 20 minutes north to an area called Burbank, California. There, for reasons that defy explanation, there is a cluster of horror-themed businesses all within a couple blocks of each other. Now we're going to start at the granddaddy of them all, a horror-themed bookstore that was established in 1995, a place called Dark Delicacies. Take a look. Walking into Dark Delicacies, I was greeted by a game section steeped in horror, villainy, Halloween, and all things gory, which should give you a clue of what this store is all about. But it's not all fun and games. There are also dapper duds for dad, that's me, and delightful dresses for your little darlings. There are also frightful fits for the little ones to have them feeling like it's Halloween all year round, and that does not suck. There are monster backpacks and plush toys, and just a touch of spooky home decor for your web. Ultimately, this is a bookstore, so there are books and more books. There are books to show you stranger things to cook, and books to show you hands that look. There are books about heroes, books about villains, and books about mansions where ghosts are chillin'. And if you're wondering why so many of them are signed, it's because they have frequent author signings here. In fact, many of horror's best-known literary legends have sat and signed at this very table. But it's not just authors, it's filmmakers too. And if you think the age of the DVD has come to an end, I'd have to say, not yet. Many horror filmmakers have made appearances here as evidenced by the signed movie posters. Dark Delicacies also sells horror toys of many varieties, some so chilling, they'll have you looking over your shoulder. There's surreal art and gothic art by local artists. All in all, this place is filled with, well, dark delicacies. Our next stop was just up the street on Magnolia at a place called Halloween Town. Open all year, we were super excited to see it, and we were tempted by the treats in the window. The gothic figures and display were music to my ears. I was all ready to bust a move and dig in, but then we saw the sign. No cell phone use of any kind, no photos, no filming.
The only way to see this place is just to come here and go inside.
So long, suckers!
While I'm sure the owners of Halloween Town have their reasons for why they do not allow photography in the store, I can tell you that I was really bummed not to be able to show you the inside. I can say that it's bigger than I expected it to be, with several rooms you can walk through. Most of the merchandise is really sort of like horror-themed toys, things like Funko Pops. There's some Halloween decorations that you can buy. And there's this one room that has sort of slightly higher-end sort of macabre decor items. It is dark and spooky inside, and it's really kind of cool looking, to be frank. But sadly, you're just going to have to check it out for yourself. They also have a costume store just down the street, but it seems it's always closed whenever I'm in Burbank. I had far better luck at Bearded Lady Vintage and Mystic Museum, despite perhaps the giant intimidating skeleton in the window. I featured this shop several times before on Gothic Homemaking. Venture inside and you'll find a well-stocked oddities shop full of human remains that will make your jaw drop. They also have medical models that some might think would turn your stomach, blow your mind, or chill your spine. They have mounted insects and spooky decor, and if you're game, walk through to their other storefront and you'll enter a veritable temple to dark alternative living, where you'll find gothic apparel and accessories. There's also a tarot reader there, ready to spill the tea. And speaking of tea, they have a selection of teapots and teacups. And would you stab me if I said it was stocked to a T? Whether you come in for a trick or a treat, Bearded Lady has got you covered. Leaving the shop, I felt as if a giant skeleton was looming behind me saying,
"Come back soon."
Well, I actually didn't get very far because Bearded Lady and Mystic Museum have a third storefront right on the corner called Camp Horror. Ask the greeter to show you some of their horror merchandise and memorabilia. They have it situated in this cabin in the woods themed shop that will give you flashbacks to certain slashy summer camps. They have creepy candles and terrifying toys for those who walk the spooky walk. Every corner of this place has Instagrammable moments sure to cure cabin fever. There's eye candy galore that will have you hooked. But don't worry, their bark is worse than their bite, though some might have your body in tremors. I was about to take a photo in this boat with an old friend, and that's when I heard the screams. Apparently, in the Mystic Museum, which is a space that runs behind their shops, they had erected an exhibit of early 2000s horror films called Y2 Kills. The people inside seemed to be having the fright of their lives, so I bought a ticket for myself. Now, I have to tell you, it's a very novel experience. They hand you a DVD, and in each exhibit you put the DVD into like an ancient DVD player, and it sort of brings each experience to life. It is highly immersive, and you are encouraged to pick up props and pick up weapons and take photos and take videos. And if you know me, you know I'm ready to dive in head first. Half the fun is trying to guess what films you're walking through, to see if anything sparks or ignites a memory that has you waxing nostalgic for the early 2000s. If someone's business card gets you enraged, you can always don a raincoat and ask them where they got them printed. Of all of the horror dioramas, my favorite was the one for Trick or Treat. That one had me crawling on the ceiling for my favorite Halloween-themed splatter film. But I was really reeling when I realized this hostile horror host was no dummy. Not to put too sharp a point on it, but that is what I saw at Y2 Kills. The Mystic Museum's Y2 Kills exhibit is a lot of fun. A ticket will run you about $18, and it's not a very long experience, but then again, it's so interactive, and they really encourage you to take photos and to take videos, and I didn't get the sense there was any kind of time limit. You might be able to stay in there for as long as you like, I'm not sure. I just thought it was a lot of fun, and I'm just so glad that something like this exists. And the very best part of it is that you don't have to wait until Halloween to experience something like this in Burbank, California, because they do these throughout the year. Last year they had an exhibit based on 1990s horror films, and I think it's safe to assume that there's more to come from the Mystic Museum. The Mystic Museum opened another location just down the street where they presently have an exhibit called The Lost Toys. Again, it's an immersive experience and photo op gallery, and I dove right in. The foyer is filled with 80s monster toys. And if you buy a ticket, you can enter to see an alien display where you can finally discover which came first, the face hugger or the egg. They also have a room set up to look like an 80s kids room with a TV playing some of my favorite commercials. There's no monster under this bed, Demon Slayer. It looms over it. And let me tell you, my buddy, I felt like I'd met the ghost of my childhood in that room. And just behind the toy exhibit is a large room where they hold seances for those who wish to meet actual ghosts. If you're a child of the 80s like I am, you're going to find a lot to feel nostalgic about at the Lost Toys exhibit. Now, my last stop in Burbank, California was not at a macabre establishment, but since I am, after all, a spooky Cubano, I had to stop at one of the most beloved Cuban bakeries in the Los Angeles area. Take a look. At Portos Bakery and Cafe, there's almost always a line of people waiting to get in. But I fought through the crowds to be able to enjoy a Cuban sandwich, some delicious guava pastries, and wash them down with a materva. Just heavenly. I hope you enjoyed that tour of spooky Burbank. Why are there all these macabre shops all in one place? I have no idea. Maybe there's something in the water in Burbank. I really couldn't tell you. I just love that there are little pockets of spooky culture like this throughout the world. I think it's so great that you can go to this one place and get all of your Halloween shopping done or all of your spooky home decor shopping. Whether you're looking for horror novels or spooky toys, it's just all in one place, and I think that's fantastic. I did think it was kind of an odd juxtaposition that Halloween Town doesn't allow any photos at all, and then the Mystic Museum is kind of like their business model is in encouraging people to take pictures. I don't have an opinion about it, but if you do, you can let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you here next time on Gothic Homemaking.